Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second ever instant reaction for a Saturday night main event here in Washington, D.C. First one, we did a Survivor Series at Petco Park. Clearly, this is not Capital One. This is a hotel in the downtown area of Washington, D.C. We ran into some technical difficulties, so we couldn't do it at Capital One Arena. I really wanted to because interestingly enough, just like Petco Park and some of the emotions, whether that's anger, confusion, bleakness, somber, whatever adjective you want to use to describe the energy that was at Petco Park, some of that energy was felt at Capital One, although I would say a little bit more angry. And we'll get to that and the main reason why that was. This is instant reaction, no notes. I will take notes next time. We'll try to run through the entire card and get to the end of this because that's really what grinds my gears. I'm a little upset. I'm kind of baffled. So right off the top, apologize for the technical difficulties and having to do this, kind of raw dogging it with this version. But I also want to apologize because, I'm a huge sports fan and there's something silly that I care about. There's a few things in sports that are silly that I care about a lot. And when it comes to all-star snubs or who wins the Defensive Player of the Year, the Sixth Man of the Year, the MVP, the Finals MVP, the conference, whatever. I think these things and these accolades that people win are important because when you look at the history of something, when you look at something years from now, and you open up the record books and you look through, and for instance, if I was opening up the NBA record book and I'm seeing the 2010s and I'm noticing that I see Steph Curry win some MVPs, I see Draymond Green win some Defensive Players of the Year, I also see Klay Thompson being an all-star and they've won a couple championships and be like, oh, okay, they went on a run. I see LeBron a lot. He went on a run. And that kind of tells the story without having to relive it and be there because you can't. And that's why record books are important. So similarly with wrestling, I think it's important to have some of these moments set in stone so that people can remember them by that and not the minutia and some of the details that you just are not going to recall unless you live through it. And when you talk about the greatest superstar, you should make sure you get that right. But that was the main event. We'll get to that in a second. Want to apologize if yo, chill out. I can't. I'm passionate. Feel me? I wouldn't have this channel and do what I'm doing. I wouldn't be here sick, which also I'm sick. I want to apologize about that too if I cough or do whatever. But let's get to the show and let's get to this because it's instant reaction. First match, Obafemi versus Cody Rhodes. I thought it was super tight. Both came out, of course, and were beloved. Crowd was really into Cody Rhodes. Crowd was really into Obafemi. I was wondering about that. Probably the biggest show that Obafemi's been on because he hasn't been in the Rumble, I don't believe. So this arena show, 19,000 people there. And for the most part, most of the crowd, if not all of the crowd, knew what was going on with Oba. So all the chants with the entrance music, they were in it, they were fully engaged. Cody Rhodes pulling off some acrobatics, jumping off both ropes, which I thought was cool. Some of the stuff that they did outside the ring. Match was less than 9 minutes when Drew McIntyre came out. So it was quick, it was fast-paced, hard-hitting, and I loved the face-off with Drew and Oba, which I was surprised by because I guess a lot of people were like, look, if you're not going to have a clean decision, someone from NXT, whether that's Ricky Saints, whether that's Trick Williams, is going to come out. And that's what will be the reason why this match ends in DQ. But it was Drew McIntyre. And then to have the face-off with Oba and Drew, it's that Jacob Fatu effect and Braun Breaker effect where every face-off that they have with someone is I could see that at WrestleMania. I had that same energy with the Drew and Oba stuff. So now you got stories to tell that are kind of in place for when he does get called up, whenever that is. Still has to finish the story with Cody and just planted the seeds for Drew McIntyre, so that was fire. Bayley and Sol Ruka and Bayley, I'm so sorry, off of the amazing camp that you just had. And Sol Ruka, for this huge opportunity you got. As soon as Drew McIntyre and Obafemi finished and they started playing all their ads, I went to go get some food. Your boy was hungry. What a surprise, fatty. I was hungry. I wanted to get some food. Lines were chaos. I didn't get back until after the match. I will say the crowd was into it because they popped a whole bunch of times while I was in the concourse. So I know that they put on a banger. I will go watch it at some point this weekend, probably on the flight back home to Vegas. But it seemed like the crowd was engaged, and I apologize. That leads us to the tag team match, which was super dope. Of course, Leon Slater and AJ Styles had that moment at Bound for Glory a few months ago, and we hope we get that one-on-one match on TNA, maybe in a couple weeks for that AMC debut, January 15th in Dallas, I believe. But for them to mix it up, high energy, jumping all around, acrobatics crazy, as we expected. Leon Slater's 450 Swanton. Pardon me, I don't know what he calls the finisher, but the 450 Swanton, he landed like his knees landed directly in AJ Styles' ribs, and I was like, ooh, that hurt. And then AJ kind of slipped. It happens, a little bit of a botch, but it's all good. It's on the YouTube channel if you want to see either one of those things. But regardless, the match was great, and just to see the fact that we do have a legend interacting with the future, like that's what this whole event was for, right? But to see that come out and finally happen is super, super dope, and I look forward to this final run with AJ Styles, and hopefully we get some one-on-one matches against Leon and against Javon. Super dope. The future's very bright. Boom, let's get to the main event. Most unique crowd experience that I've ever, I don't want to say ever, because Double for Nothing this year with the let the bodies hit the floor moment with Kenny Omega during that crazy ass match was insane and surreal. But this John Cena energy during his entrance was something I'll never forget, man. I don't mean to be dramatic or make it sound romantic, but it was dope from the moment that Gunther's music stopped, and just the anticipation and how they let that build, and him coming out, grabbing the camera, the final moment with Stu, seeing everybody's phones out reminded me of when LeBron broke the scoring record last year or 2 years ago, where I know some people bitched about it online when they're like, oh, back in the day, it used to be light bulbs, and now it's just everyone on their phone. But everybody wanted to capture that moment that they spent hundreds of dollars to be in the building for, so I ain't going to judge you, because they made $4 million off an arena show with less than 20,000 people there. So do what you want. I'll shoot a fucking free throw if I want. Excuse my language. That entrance was phenomenal, and so was Gunther's, because he didn't put on a show. He walked out like he always does, with no emotion. Let's get down to business. The bell rings, and I'm violent. That's what Gunther's about. But it just was a great touch, as he was enemy number one for sure, going up against John Cena, the old school crowd, the FU Gunther, and some of the expletives. They even tried to start a USA chant, and people calmly said, stop that. That's mad unnecessary, and we need to leave that in the past, which we do. So the crowd was phenomenal. It was ironic to hear the Super Cena chants, because he's the most, polarizing figure in WWE history, and the reason why people chanted Cena sucks. And I was on that team. I am on that team. The reason we were on that team is because of Super Cena, but everyone wasn't doing ironically. They were saying, no, we need that one last time. We want that. And they didn't get it. And I'm just confused, man. I'm confused because I said the thing about sports and why the record books are so important, because it tells the history of it. And sports is not a TV show. I mean, it is, but it's not. Wrestling is a TV show. Wrestling is scripted. Wrestling is a story that is trying to be told. And I don't understand clinging to, we need to do this because this is just how it's done. No, it doesn't have to be done like that. The last retirement match we had was the best one ever. Officially now, by the way, when it comes to Sting at Revolution in North Carolina, winning his final match against the Young Bucks, still as a tag team champion, and just relinquishing it as he retired. There's no problem doing that. You want to know why? Because Gunther is the best wrestler on the men's roster right now in WWE. And when you're in this weird position with all this young talent like Leon Slater and Javon Evans being super young, and the old guard of CM Punk and Roman and Brock Lesnar and AJ Styles and Randy Orton and Rey Mysterio, all these guys that have retirement runs possibly happening, and The Miz and Kofi Kingston and these people having 20 plus years. So we don't have that much time. There's a lopsidedness. There's not that much in the middle. You got your Braun Breakers. What are they going to do with Carmelo? Like, it's not even. So I say all that to say that Gunther losing doesn't affect him in a way that would make it necessary for him to win tonight. In fact, if he loses, I enjoy kind of psychologically the story that can be told of, can Gunther win the big one? Right? Hey, the heavyweight championship doesn't matter as much as the WWE championship. He's never had that. He's had the heavyweight championship. He lost it at WrestleMania to Jey Uso. All eyes on him. Big match. All eyes on him against John Cena. Biggest match of his career, arguably. Lost that to Cena. Is Gunther really the real deal? And we know he is. So, like, you don't need him to win from a storytelling perspective. And now he wins in what? What's going on? The WWE champion or the heavyweight championship, because he's on Raw, seems to be in the Vision Braun Breaker cortex. Are we going to do Braun Gunther? Like, sure, whatever it is, whatever happens with Gunther next is fine, because he is fine. He's the best wrestler on the roster. Let the bell ring and let him do what he has to do. You had the highest grossing crowd for an arena show in your history as a company. And a lot of WrestleManias were done in arenas, and this blew it out of the park. $4 million raised. And for a second straight time, your highest attended Survivor Series ever, because it was at Petco Park with over 40,000 people there. I said it at the beginning. They left confused, angry, baffled, just like, huh? Like, I said anger, and I guess I could have used annoyed better when I sent out a tweet that got some traction. And whatever. But there was a little bit of being very, very agitated. Whereas this crowd was different from their perspective. They were heartbroken because it was not necessary. We didn't need to do that. Those people paid... Dude, I just said it was the highest grossing crowd in arena history for the WWE, and I don't want to keep repeating myself, and I don't take notes. And next one, I will take notes to keep this coherent. I apologize if I'm rambling. But you don't need to send those people disappointed. You do not need to send the world being like, what the hell is this? Like, if I'm a casual or never watched and I want to watch, right? If I'm on Complex, and I'm on Complex because I like sneakers and fashion and pop culture and Travis Scott. And I'm not the biggest wrestling fan. But, John Cena, salute. That's Peacemaker. That dude's that's a GOAT. I don't know wrestling like that, but I know John Cena's dope. Let me tune into this. There's nothing else going on. College football with the playoffs start next week. There's just college basketball in the sports world. There's not much. Like, everyone's just getting ready for the holidays. Like, this was the perfect night to have John Cena's final match because all eyes could be on him. And I'm tuning in and I'm hearing the crowd being like booing and like, hey, why are they booing? What's going on? I don't understand fully. I feel like I'm missing something. So you had the chance to make an impact culturally, and now all these different websites that don't usually cover wrestling outside of major events will have interesting headlines. The conversation right now that I'm having, I don't feel like I'm the only one. I don't think anyone left that going like that was the best. I think they may give the benefit of the doubt out of respect for John Cena. And I wish John Cena would once like use his dick and be like, nah, Hunter, this is what we're doing. And for him, he came out, he got booed. That's on the YouTube channel. Go watch and subscribe and do all that stuff. Independent creator, come on. During the goodbye speech, at some point he gets on the apron, the only one, whole roster's out there, only one that gets on the apron, bringing a little bit more attention on him. And then at some point during all the booing, he left, which then he left the roster out there by himself. And I'm assuming the reason why he left is because he had to get to the other side of the arena to go do the post show. But I was just like, yo, you effed up. Like, in the eyes of this arena, you effed up, rightfully or wrong, and you left, and now your employees have to, like, take the burden of that. Your superstars in the ring, I'm like, hey, everybody calm down, I get it, I love you guys, though. So, again, out of respect, they didn't go crazy, because it's not his fault. It's not their fault. And then there's a whole post-show that they have to do. And, like, are we going to talk about that? Which Triple H came out and basically said, hey, Like, John's going to do what's best for the business, and what's best for the business is to give the ball to someone else. You go out with you looking at the lights. That's how it works. And, like, cool, man. I'm not here to disrupt the old guard and do different to be different. I just don't think that was smart. I don't think that leaving your crowd in your past 2 major events, like, I don't think that that's okay. Leaving them with the emotions that they had and the crowd that was there and the people that are watching. And now John Cena's done. That was your, rightfully so, that was the main thing surrounding this year. That's done. You don't have that card to use next year. So, like, what are you going to do? And granted, this is a once-in-a-lifetime event, but I guarantee you the next time they go to DC, there was 19,000 people there. They're not going to get more than 10,000. Not at those prices, not at what they're showing. Like, I don't mean to be dramatic and be like this is the end of the world, but I just think that more care should be put into the greatest of all time, quote unquote. You delicately tell that story, and at the end of the day, people are going to look fondly at it because it is John Cena, and there was great moments, and I'm glad they pivoted, and they made the most of it, and the Styles match, and Cody at SummerSlam, and, you know, the past couple weeks with Dom, like, that shit was fun. But the moment in Unreal where Triple H is like, yo, something would have to go really wrong for us to F that up. Like, I don't want to say it's not the end of the world, but they didn't take care of they didn't take care of John, and that's upsetting. To me, it's like when LeBron retires, if in his final game, LeBron played the first quarter and that's it. For no reason, not because of injuries or his performance. Like, they let him play for the first quarter, and then that's it. And for the rest of the game, everyone that paid thousands of dollars to be in that arena is just like, what the hell's going on? As he has to sit on the bench for the rest of the game and look like Boo Boo the Fool. So this was a lot longer than I thought it was. I hope I made sense. I just turned off the lights. I need to get this posted, and let me know in the comments if I'm bugging. I hope I was coherent. Sorry for the voice, technical difficulties, no mic, no fancy camera. Presentation is key. We'll make sure we get that fixed for the next event here in the next year, because I think we will not be at AEW's World's End. Yeah, World's End. But, of course, we got interviews on the way and all that good stuff. So like, subscribe, check out the videos. Let me know what you think. John Cena, hell of a career. I was on the Cena sucks side, but doesn't matter. You're the GOAT. Nobody did it as long at the top than you did. Not Cena, not Rock, not Austin. You are, to me, you're the GOAT. And salute to you. Thanks for the memories, man. Thank you. And thank you for everyone that watches. Happy holidays. Washington, D.C. Peace. We out of here. Like, subscribe. Bye. I should have not snored when I did, because that shit ain't cool. No one wants to hear that. Like, could you imagine having headphones or Bluetooth you watching in the car? So, let's do that again. Peace.